brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is the Ramsey Show, where America comes to win with your money, win in your profession, and win in your relationships. Thrilled to have you with us. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. Rachel Cruze joins me today. I'm Ken Coleman, and let's get right to it. Are you ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Answer these questions.
Christy is up first in Kansas City. Christy, how can we help today?
So I was just wondering how you guys would handle this. My husband and I are newly married, about 6 months. We were both previously married. I was married for 26 years, and he was married for 7. And both of us, through our relationships, it's like we both had financial infidelity by our partners. So I found out that my ex-husband had been lying to me about money for well over 15 years. And then his ex-wife, she left him and then tried, he's a farmer, so they have a large farm, and she tried to take the whole farm. So there's been a lot of infidelity there on the financial side. So both of us have these deep fears of combining finances from, previous relationship.
Sure.
We don't know how to handle moving forward financially together, biblically speaking.
Well, what do you mean, biblically speaking?
Well, I know from listening to your guys' podcast, you say the two shall become one, and that includes finances. And there is just a lot of fear there with combining and afraid that you're going to get what you got before, and that you're going to find out, oh my gosh, this person who I was supposed to be able to trust was lying to me. And then his side of the fence is, well, if I open up to her and I tell her what's actually going on with finances, she's gonna mess me over and take me to the cleaners again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
I get what you're saying. Here's what I would say right out of the gate. I actually think if I were in your shoes, and I understand the trust issues, so what's going on with both of you is very natural. It's very normal. I think you guys got to get with a therapist without question and work through this. But I would tell you that just practically speaking, I think that the fact that you have your finances merged and shared actually creates greater accountability for both, right? So that the trust at least has some type of transparency. Now, just because you share accounts doesn't mean that financial infidelity isn't happening. However, one big step going forward to me is, okay, there are no separate accounts, and we both see what's in there. And even just getting into an EveryDollar budget and beginning to look where every dollar is being spent, all of that begins to create so much transparency that trust is in some way a byproduct. I'm not in any way saying that therapy doesn't still need to happen, because Rachel, I want to get your thoughts on this, because I do think this is we need a good therapist to help us both heal, because they've both had this trauma.
Yeah, I mean, you've both been burned, by the exact same issue from an ex-spouse. So, yeah, Christy, I mean, you're not crazy by any means for this to be so heightened and so aware. But I would also just challenge you that the man you chose to marry and that you chose at the altar and said those vows, what caused you to say yes to him? What were those things?
He loves Jesus big. And I respected his walk with Christ and who he was. His character was so good. And he was different than anybody else I had met.
Yeah. So I think what can happen is our emotions and from our past, it's almost like a neuro pathway in our brains, right? It has been formed for you that with money, it's like, don't trust. And over time, you are going to have to build a new way of trusting. And I think even leaning on kind of just those facts of what you just told me, Christy, like this man is not your ex-husband. And I know me just saying that doesn't wipe away all the emotion, but just you have to trust yourself as well. And I think when people get blindsided by a spouse, whether it's financial infidelity, an affair or something, there's almost that fear of, I can't even trust myself. How did I miss it, right? You're probably asking yourself, how did I miss it for 15 years, right? So you're thinking about that. And so I would say trust yourself, Christy, because you chose someone to do life with. And so, again, I would talk to a therapist, because that trust string isn't going to just be tied to money. it's going to come out in other parts of your marriage where you probably have a level of that wall. And why we say to combine finances, I would say from a spiritual perspective, I think it's wise, but it's also, again, whether you're spiritual or not, the data shows couples that combine finances not only have a higher level of happiness, but there's also a depth of complete intimacy that when you say, I said yes to this person and I chose to lock arms with them and take on the world together, when you do that in just this like fullness together, you enjoy life together more than trying to keep everything separate and compartmentalized, if you will. So again, from a spiritual aspect, yes, but I would say it's even bigger than a spiritual aspect. I think people that aren't spiritual find this level of depth in their marriage when they choose to work as a team.
Well, because you're right, because of again the word we've been talking about, which is trust. Christy, I want to dig a little bit. We've kind of told you what we thought. You've been listening. I'm curious. Would you say you both are at the same level of distrust of each other, even though you're probably happily married in every other area? Describe for us where you are and where he is on the particular issue of trust of each other and money right now. How would you describe that?
Well, on his side of the fence, he farms with his dad, so that's a family business. Generational. And so we also have a mix on his side of the fence of fear from the whole family.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get that. That makes us even.
Can I jump in here, Christy?
Christy,
can I jump in? Okay, we never talk about prenups. It's almost never conversation, I feel like, around here with prenups, unless there's a few caveats. One of them is if there is an excessive amount of wealth. There's a level of just protection there. But then the other one is kind of what you're talking about, Christy, for him at least. If there is some level of a family business, because we've talked to people like this where they get divorced and the ex still has voting stock in the company, and then he gets remarried to someone crazy, and now all of them are still speaking into the ex's family, and it's affecting other people. So this may be a conversation that you have with him of that specifically, that farm, because it is tied to other people in the family. That domino effect is very real for them to be protected in that sense with a farm, through some level of prenup. So again, we say almost never a prenup, but there are situations that make sense because it's protecting other people as well. So that may be something on his side towards you, right? This would be for you to sign.
Actually, we did. We did sign a prenuptial agreement, so I actually volunteered to sign one.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I said when we were dating, I said, I'm feeling like that there's something here, and I said, if you need a piece of paper, then give it to me and I'll sign it because I don't want anything from you except.
Oh, well, that's huge. That had to create a lot of trust for him. That had to be huge.
Well, there's still some walls there. I can sense that he doesn't want to open up to me too much yet. And and from my perspective of having that been violated on my side of the fence, I completely understand it. I'm like, as you should be. Well, you should be worried.
I got to say, Christy, I think you guys are on the way. I believe marital counseling here because neither one of you were the bad guys. You're both victims. That's an interesting combination, and a professional will get you guys the tools that you can heal. I think you commit big time to some serious therapy, one time a week maybe, and let's dive into this and come out on the other side, and then I think you guys will get there. Really, really interesting call. Thanks for trusting us.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Jade Warshaw. And look, if there's anybody who knows about student loan debt, it's me. My husband and I had $280,000 of it. But we were able to dig ourselves out, and you can too. If your student loan payment and interest rate are burying you, refinancing could be the solution. Now, I recommend contacting my friends at Laurel Road today. Through their online application, you can get an initial rate quote in less than 5 minutes. And if you have a more complex situation, you can schedule 30 minutes to talk to an actual human being. Thank goodness. Laurel Road makes it simple. There are no fees involved, and you could save thousands over the life of your loan. Remember, you should only refinance if it makes sense in your situation. So, if you're looking for a low rate or a shorter term so that you can pay off these student loans fast, talk to my friends at Laurel Road about their competitive interest rates and how you could actually get a lower rate by signing up for autopay. Listen, nobody's coming to save you from your student loan debt. If you want it gone, you can't mess around. Go to laurelroad.com/Ramsey to find out more about student loan refinancing. Again, that's laurelroad.com/Ramsey.
All right, let's go to Shelby in Seattle, Washington. Shelby, how can we help today?
Hi there. So I am in a bit of a pickle right now. I'm a stay-at-home mom, a new stay-at-home mom. So I was working previously, but now my husband provides all the income for our family. We have an 8-month-old son. But our biggest issue right now is that our vehicles are taking up way too much of our budget. Mm-hmm. And before we got married, my husband bought this really nice truck that he could afford, or he thought he could afford then. And that was before we met, before we got married. And now it's costing us almost as much as our mortgage. And we owe about $25,000 more than the car's worth right now.
25 more than it's worth? Or what is it actually?
More than it's worth.
Oh, my.
Okay, how much do you guys owe on it?
About
$55,000. Okay. And you're thinking you can only Kelly Blue Book it for, what, 25?
About 30.
30.
25,
okay.
30,
Yeah.
Is your husband willing to get rid of it?
He is. And he's actually making a big chunk of change right now. He's working up in Alaska, so he's making about 4 times as much as he normally would.
Oh, wow.
So I've been trying to convince him to throw all this extra income at the truck, but he's saying, no, let's just stick to the snowball plan and go smallest to largest. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a lot of money that we could be using for other bills if we could get rid of the truck.
Well, why don't you walk us through where you are on the snowball right now? What do you guys walk that out for us? Smallest to largest.
Yes, we pay off. The mortgage is $1,400.
No. Tell me your current debts, smallest to largest.
Oh, I see. Okay. So we have a credit card that's about $600 left.
Okay.
His credit card, which is about $5,000. We have. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't small to largest, but so my credit card, which is about $600. I have a personal loan for $2,000. We have a joint loan together for $3,000. He's got a credit card for $5,000, his own personal loan for $7,000, and then I have student loans for about $8,000.
Mm-hmm. Right up, it's like car. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's like stair-step kids.
Okay, so then the $8,000 student loan, and then the truck, or is there another one?
And then my car,
okay,
which is about $22,000.
Okay.
Now, what's that worth?
His truck.
What's the $22,000 car worth?
About $20,000.
Okay. And how much are you guys making a month now that his income is up? What is he bringing in?
Right now, he's bringing in about $16,000 a month.
$16,000 a month. Golly, that's amazing.
How much surplus is that? If you do your full budget, sorry, Rachel, if you got all your expenses, including the minimum payments on debt, how much extra do you have now that he's making this $16,000 a month?
Yeah, so our expenses right now are about $1,500 a week, so that's about $6,000 a month. So that's about $8,000 surplus.
Okay. And how long has he been doing this? I'm just asking these questions for Rachel because she's running numbers here for you. So how long has he been making that extra money, and how much longer will he make that in Alaska?
So he's been doing it for about 4 weeks, and he's going to continue to do it for about 3 more.
Oh, 3 more
So he's
weeks.
not
So it's
doing
very
it for
short.
very long. Yeah.
Okay.
Does he have
Very short.
Okay. Is that because of is that because he's choosing to make it shorter, or is it because of what he's doing? There's only like that much contract or whatever it is.
It's just seasonal. It's like a contract thing. He's
Okay.
a crane operator.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, what I would say is, yeah, I mean, I'm on his team with going ahead and just because you guys would knock out 1, 2, close to 3 of these debts using the debt snowball with this extra money coming in, being able to knock those out with the surplus. And if he's going to be working for 3 more weeks doing that, it's like, yeah. So I would stick to the snowball method. And then I would challenge you guys and just say, you're like, you guys can keep the cars and keep trucking down the debt snowball, but run the math and just say, what if we did sell them at a loss, right? So you would have to take out a personal loan. So for yours and for you to have a car, you'll have to take out to probably $7,000 loan. It's for you to get a crappy car and pay the $2,000 that you owe on yours that you're underwater. And then for him, what if you guys took a $30,000 loan versus a $55,000 loan, right? I mean, you're shortening the life of this so significantly because of 2 cars. You know what I mean? Like, it hurts so bad to say that it's upside down, and it's like, I mean, it's sickening, right? I mean, how much you guys are paying per month for this stuff, I get it. But I think if you can get a credit union to give you guys 2 other personal loans, I think that's what I would do. And then Kelly Blue Book these individually.
Agree. Because this is an expensive truck. We're talking $55,000.
After he's been driving it for 2 to 3 years. I mean, like,
yeah. I think I would take the hit too, and just you're also going to get a real raise here after you start knocking out some of these debts. So I agree with Hubs, but I want to make sure you hear what we're saying. Work the snowball. Okay, and he's right about that with the extra income. However, take the hit and get rid of both cars.
Yeah, what were you doing before, Shelby, before you went home as a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah, I was a court clerk.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to think. I just know a family right now personally, and she was a stay-at-home mom for years, and she's working 3 days a week now to get them moving and going. So I'm like, I just wonder for a season if there is something that. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if you probably can't do that virtually.
Well, I have a photography business on the side too.
Oh, you do? How many hours a week are you spending on that?
It's not super regular that way, but I'd say it's probably maybe $1,000 a month.
Okay, that's great.
I'm wondering,
that's great.
But I'm with Rachel on this. I wonder if we take that skill set and experience of being a court clerk. So we're talking about details, right? Good listener. You're administrative in nature. Is that right? You enjoy that and you're good at it? Mm-hmm. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's. I wonder if you don't look into maybe doing virtual executive assistant or something like that.
Yeah.
Even if it's 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, because you can do that in your sleep. Something like that.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, how much do you guys make a year when he goes back to his normal salary? How much a year?
About $100,000.
$100,000 a year.
And what was your previous salary as a court clerk?
About 55.
Oh, I wonder if you can't get 40,000, even 50,000 as an executive assistant, and you do it all virtual.
I'm just running really fast math here, but I'm like, if you guys are using all this extra as I'm going down my list, and if you go and get that loan for 30 and 7 and pay the cars, it's basically right at $50,000 that you guys have left with those cars, and then the other student loan and personal loan. So that's kind of what it goes down to say after all the smoke clears, we're going to have about 50 grand left to pay off. We make 100 grand.
That's doable.
Yeah. So
that's
I'm like,
very doable.
what if there was something for 6 months? It doesn't have to be long. That there's just something to bring in, just because the whole goal here, which but is just to fast forward this process. Do this as fast as possible. We call it gazelle intensity, but just get through it as fast as possible. And there's going to be some sacrifices, things you don't want to do, but it's for such a short amount of time. It's 6 months to a year, and be done with all of this, right? And then save up for the emergency fund and replacing your cars because you guys are going to want new cars after the beaters that you buy that are crappy. But it's just this idea of this progress really fast. So Yeah, the photography stuff's great. I mean, $1,000 is usually what we see as side hustle people bring in. If they can bring in $1,000 a month,
Hey,
that's great.
And that's great, by the way, Shelby. I didn't want to sneeze at that.
No,
but I do think
if
your
there's something
skill
even
set.
more, you have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, man, I wonder if and I know it's not ideal. And I know as a mom too, when you decide, because I even pulled back from work a lot when my third was born, and you kind of have this mindset of like, okay, I'm going to be more present as a mom. I'm here. And so to kind of rewind that a little bit and plug work back in, that's a hard mental obstacle, Shelby. So I get that. But my only hope in all of it is that it's for such a short period of time. And I think you guys can do this and work as a team. But to answer your original call, Shelby, I think we agree with the husband. Throw it at the debt snowball. But Ken and I both agree, sell those cars, take a loan for the difference, and keep on going.
Make no mistake, it's going to be painful to drive a piece of crap for a while. But if you got your mindset on where this gets us, then you can drive anything. And here's the deal. Park around the corner and walk a little bit.
Rachel, do you ever get these sketchy text messages that are like, hey, you need to update your address and verify so we can get you the package you didn't order?
Yes, I have, George. Sketchy, and never trust them.
And that's why we recommend Delete Me. They help with that.
Yeah, they do. Delete Me actually goes in and removes your information from data broker websites, and it is an incredible service that everyone needs.
And there's a lot of shady companies out there that solely exist to sell your personal data to bad guys. And that means your info, like your email address, your home address, your kids' names, your name, everything is just out there for scammers and spammers to find.
So much.
But Delete Me will delete your data, hence the name. It's gone. They'll wipe it out for you so you can sleep easy.
That's right. And then once they remove your information, then they're going to send you a detailed report telling you where they found your information, when they removed it, how many hours they've saved you. I mean, it is incredible. It's so detailed and it's beautiful.
Get this. So far, they've reviewed 27,000 listings on my behalf, removed me from 240 data broker sites, and saved me 77 hours of time. It's incredible.
Absolutely amazing. And Winston and I now get fewer texts, weird emails, spam calls, all of it.
I love it. So you got to be sure to check them out. Ramsey fans get 20% off their annual plans. Just go to joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. That comes out to less than $9 a month. Super affordable.
Again, that's joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. Make sure to check it out, you guys.
Let's go to Rachel in Phoenix, Arizona. Rachel, how can Rachel and I help you?
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call, you guys.
You bet. What's going on?
So my question is, I have a studio that I would like to renovate, and it's going to cost about $10,000. And would it be a bad idea to rent it out to my parents?
Ugh, I'm going to go ahead without any information and say yes. But I'm going to admit early on,
Okay,
Rachel, that
well,
that might be a snap reaction.
That was a snap reaction, Ken. I'll give it to Ken.
I'm owning that.
Okay.
Tell us more.
Yeah, give us more of the why.
Why would we do that?
Okay, so I got this idea, and I got the sense of urgency because my father shared with me his retirement plan in January, and he has very bad spending habits. He did say that his plan is to retire in Mexico, be a gold miner with $30,000 that he has, and basically leave my mom here with his Social Security check so she can keep paying their rent. And their rent is $1,200, and that's the same exact amount that he gets for Social Security. So I'm kind of freaking out here and thinking, my mom won't be able to keep up with that payment on her own. So I know my dad is going to splurge and spend his money in about 1 or 2 years, and he's going to come back and want to also move in with my mother in the back studio I have. So in order to maybe not enable his bad spending habits, that's where I was like, okay, what if I charge them rent? And part of it would be to pay me back for the renovations I've done, but the other part is to secretly fund for their retirement and any future bills that's going to fall on me.
But you're not going to get paid. Do you realize that, Rachel? They're not going to pay you. They're not going to have any money.
Yeah, this is a disaster.
Okay, so Rachel,
But you can't stop.
I want to know how are you financially? How much debt do you have? How much savings do you have?
Thankfully, my husband and I are almost debt-free. We have a paid-off mortgage.
Okay.
In savings, we both have about $100,000 for retirement.
For retirement,
And,
okay. How much?
$5,000 for emergency.
$5,000 for emergencies. How much debt do you have left?
$500.
Oh, okay. So you'll pay that off this month. I mean, that'll be done. That's amazing. Okay, so how much do you guys make a year?
We make $120,000.
$120,000. Okay. So, man. Okay. I have so many thoughts.
I have lots of thoughts.
I know.
College.
Do you want to go first?
You have what? You have what?
We have two boys that are 4 and 6 years from going to college, so we're trying to hurry up and save for a college fund.
Yeah. So so I got to jump in real quick with a question then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Rachel. I don't think you can expect any money from them. So for this moment, let's suspend this idea that they're going to pay you and help pay this thing off and whatever. My question is, if they live with you in this studio, how much money are they going to cost you, assuming they don't pay you rent? Is it going to be any kind of a utility suck or something? Like, is it minimal as to what they'll actually cost you and your husband?
Yeah, I'll say it's minimal. Maybe combined with electricity and whatnot, it'd be like $300.
Okay, I just wanted to know that. I also wanted Rachel to hear that too. So it's going to be a minimal increase because we have to assume, I think Rachel's right, that Dad's going to go do something really dumb, and boy, oh boy.
Is gold mining like a thing in Mexico? Is that like a...
That was a question I had. I don't hear a lot about it, so I don't know what video he's watching.
Is he being for real, Rachel, or is he kind of just saying like, I'm just going to leave?
Well, no, he really wants to be Yosemite Sam because he did it in his teenage years, and he has a friend who has a gold.
How old are your parents?
Dance, varmint! Sorry, I just had to say that for everybody who knows who Yosemite Sam is. It's an older demographic, I got to point out.
All the boomers are laughing. How old are your parents, Rachel?
My dad is 71, and my mother is 61.
Oh, geez.
Okay. And how old are you guys?
We're 35.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, this is a
So here's the reality. And this is what's always so difficult about family relationships when you're the parent. That's what's happening, Rachel. You are flipping, and that's not fair to you. So I just need to say, first and foremost, this is not your responsibility. It's not. Like, you can only control you. They are going to dig themselves into whatever hole, finding gold or doing whatever they're going to do. And
literally, he's going to dig himself in a hole.
So, like you can't stop that, right? And so there is one side of the coin, and some people are like this, where they're like, we are putting up a boundary, right? It would be like if your husband was like, we are absolutely not funding your crazy parents. No, we're not doing this. Like some people put a hard boundary, and it's like, mom and dad, y'all have to grow up at some point, and I'm not going to be the safety net. I'm not going to be the parent.
Yeah.
So that's one side of the coin. Ken may lean more on that side.
Oh, I promise you. You know me well.
I know. But then there's another part, Rachel, a human part with a heart.
I have a heart. I also have a brain.
That does say, to a point, like, am I really going to let my parents be on the side of the road? If I have the ability.
They're not going to be on the side of the road. You know why? Because Rachel's mom is going to look at if I went to Stacy, my wife of
but you're
almost
not her
27.
Parents. You're not her parents.
But Rachel, your mom at some point is going to tell your dad to wake up and smell the coffee. Is she not?
She has, and we've had the pastor intervene and family members with the spending habits, and that's why they are where they are right now.
Does your mom work?
She works 12 hours a week.
Okay. Well, if I were her, if she was calling this show, Rachel, right now, I would tell her, as much as we talk about combining finances and being one as a team, he is the most risk possible for her not to retire. So if I were her, I would be working 40 hours a week, and I would be creating my own retirement. Honestly, because he's a child. Like this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
But here's something I want to point out. Rachel, please speak up to this, okay? Because
Rachel in Phoenix.
Rachel in Phoenix. I believe that this is kind of like a teenager. I think your dad needs to be treated like a teenager. And that's why I agree with my partner here, Rachel's advice on this. Have mom take care of mom for a bit. Because I don't think anybody's going to get through to this guy. The only thing that's going to get through to him is, Davis said this for decades, when you land so hard, you bounce. And I think this guy, I hate this, what I'm about to say. But I think the family, including your mom's, going to go,
hit rock bottom.
All right, pal, go to Mexico. Please, for the love of God, be safe. But let the guy go digging and let him go gold mining. And when he doesn't find any gold and he runs out of all money, he's a bit of the prodigal here.
Yeah.
And I think it's the only shot you have.
Hitting rock bottom.
Is to let this guy get this out of his system. He's 71. I think this is his last hurrah. And I think he probably doesn't even realize it. I think to get his attention. But I think mom protects herself. I agree so much with Rachel Cruze on this. Rachel, your thoughts on that? I mean, where's mom at on this deal? Because you're trying to help. And I don't think, by the way, I want to make sure we come back to this point. I don't think this is your problem, even though it feels like it. I don't think it's your problem.
So my mom opened up her own secret account, but for $20,000, and she's afraid that she has to speak on it when they file their taxes together, and he's going to find out.
Not for a savings account.
No, for high yield savings, she doesn't need to report to taxes.
No, just earned income, right? Investments. I mean, if you're,
I don't think so. I would. Here's the deal. I'm not a tax pro. I was certain about it until you looked at me sideways, and I was like, then I started thinking, I don't think that's going to be an issue. But I would, again, I would have her consult with a tax pro. Go to RamseySolutions.com.
He'll know what she earned.
Yeah.
So that he will.
But
see.
again, but listen, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that conversation.
Yes,
I'm not suggesting, by the way, that this is a secret.
That's right. Don't even make it a
I
secret.
think she needs to be bold and go, hey, Yosemite Sam, I got to take care of me, because there's a good chance. This is really going to be harsh, but I'm going to say it. There's a chance this guy goes down there and falls into something bad. I mean, gold mining in Mexico? You might as well get on a roller coaster without the seatbelt. I don't think this is a wise decision. I'm not in any way making light of that. But she's got to protect herself. And I would say to her, she looks at him and goes, you're putting us at risk with this
Rachel,
crazy venture.
So the renting the studio thing.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it. And the only way I would do it is that it's a ministry to mom and dad, and we don't need the income as rental, and we're going to fix it up for them, and it's there for them if they need a landing. But like, I would expect zero money from them. But if you guys need this as rental income for your life to fund your kids' college, sorry, mom and dad, we're renting to someone else.
I'll tell you one thing I am going to do. I am going to see what the gold mining situation is in Mexico. She's got my
If Ken doesn't show back up to the show, we know where he's gone.
Ken went to Home Depot to get a bunch of pickaxes.
What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession? Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey.
All right, let's get to our Ramsey Show question of the day. It's brought to you by Y Refi. If you're feeling stuck with defaulted private student loan payments, Y Refi can reduce your payments and help you regain control of your finances. Take the first step towards getting unstuck by visiting yrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. It may not be available in all states.
Today's question comes from Antonio in Indiana. I'm 22 years old and getting married this year. Once we combine finances, we will have no debt and we'll be making $205,000 a year. While we feel extremely blessed, we just recently started earning this much, so it's a little intimidating. In the next 2 years, we could easily save for a 20% down payment in addition to an emergency fund. Do you have any tips on how we should remain content with renting during that time? The longing to reach my goals often clouds the journey it took to get there. Mm-hmm. And I don't want that to be the case for the first 2 years of marriage.
Oh, that's good.
So
Very good question. What say you? You're the contentment queen.
I don't know. Preaching to myself all the time, Ken.
Okay.
This may be a little Pollyanna, but I also think when you get married, that's such a newness in life that this whole thing of like, oh gosh, I got to do the next thing money-wise, the intensity kind of changes in a sense because your whole life has changed. Like you're starting this new life with a new partner and you're doing all of this. So there's almost this element of life that changes that's exciting that may kind of help naturally kind of loosen this discontentment you may feel towards a money goal. It's like when you have a baby, right? Yeah. It's just something just changes and you kind of have this new thing in life. And then once you kind of get the rhythm of that, if we ever get the rhythm of marriage, let's be honest, it's then from there, you guys, then you'll be like, okay, we have 12 months and we'll be good. So I think being as present as possible, though, I've learned this, Ken, recently with some stuff I've been reading, because staying completely present is so difficult because we're always thinking forward, or thinking backwards oh gosh, even at lunch today. You're just where our minds go. It's rarely in the present. So it's almost a practice to be present. It really is because we're either forward and back all the time. So I think it's hard for a lot of people, but also, I don't know, Antonio, I think you'll be okay. I think that there's a fun new element of your life that's about to change with marriage and you're going to enjoy that. And I don't know, there'll be enough distractions, I think.
When I was 14,
adapting.
I had an old pastor tell me, looked me in the eye, and I'll never forget, he had his Bible in his hand and he kind of thumped me on the shoulder. He says, young man, hear me on this. Don't sacrifice the future on the altar of the immediate. Now, that's a lot of old man speak, but what that statement says is don't risk or sacrifice your future on how you're feeling in the now. And so to Antonio, I would say, how do you stick with renting while you're accumulating that down payment? You start looking towards the future and you say, if I wait and I get that 20% down payment and I do it the right way and I buy that way when I'm ready, my future is so much better. But if I don't wait right now and I go in and I become house poor, what is that going to do to my mind, my wife's mind? Yep. So just look out to the future and go, what do I want that future to be? And that's going to require me to sacrifice now. You want to go lose weight. You want to lose 30 pounds by summer. Well, now we start to go, I have got to win the now. And I've got to be disciplined in the now, or else I don't get where I want to be. You can pick any category of life. So that would be my encouragement there. Two things I want to get to really quick. I want to go back. You and I did a little research. You did the research.
Oh, yes.
I want to cover that tax question.
For the interest, So the interest earned on the high yield savings, if it's over $125 in 2024, it is considered earned income. So if which depending on how long she's had that 20 grand in the high yield.
That's right.
There will be taxes on that, but we'll circle back to that call again. Who cares if he learns about it?
It didn't change our advice.
He should be learning about it.
He should know about it. But we wanted to clarify that. And by the way, that's what we would call a simple tax situation. So if you have a simple tax situation, I want to make you aware of Ramsey Smart Tax. We're really excited about this. This is a 100% accurate tax software that's going to save you up to 80% compared to what you see on TV and commercials. And here's what's cool. It's powered by TaxSlayer. A lot of you know TaxSlayer. So Ramsey partnered with TaxSlayer. They've been in the industry for 50 years. We've got it doctored up the Ramsey way. So that's a great simple tax solution. It's called Ramsey Smart Tax. You can get it at RamseySolutions.com/smart tax. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com/smart tax. All right. I think you call that Worcester. We'll find out. Is it Worcester
I have a fun,
or is it
I have a fun
Worcester?
fact about Worcester. Okay. Put
Oh,
Jessica
you want to
on.
get her on
Yeah,
it? Okay.
let's
So
talk
let's go to Jessica. Jessica, is it Worcester, Mass?
Worcester.
Worcester.
I should have known.
Jessica, do you know Holy Cross that's there?
I know Holy Cross very well. My
Yes.
best friend graduated from Holy Cross.
Okay, my brother-in-law played basketball there.
Fun
Great
connection.
school.
Yes, I know. And I went to an American versus Holy Cross basketball game in D.C.
Did you
And
really?
watched it happen. So anyways,
Did you
that's
get
my fun
Did you
fact
get a
about
funnel
that.
cake while you were there?
No,
Very cool.
All right.
How can we help?
How can we help you, Jessica?
Well, first, thank you guys for what you do. I'm really grateful to be speaking with you. And my question is a little bit of context really quick. My husband and I are currently working baby step 2. We've been working it since July of last year. We are on pace to complete baby step 2 at the end of April, so next month. And
Nice.
then we will be at baby steps, 4 and 5 by this August. So saving for our kids' college fund this August. But at that time, our twins will be 15 and heading into their sophomore year of high school. And while I wish we found you guys sooner, we didn't. So we will be starting from scratch. And my question is, what is the best way to go approach saving for their college fund, knowing that we're going to need to dip into it within 3 years? Does it still make sense to invest in a 529? Is there something else that you would recommend is my question.
Honestly, I would recommend a 529 more to you guys than even others. We always recommend a 529 because it grows tax-free for educational purposes. So the money in there, the big fear around 529s, especially people that have young kids, is that they're going to overfund it and or college is going to change so much between now and 18 years that who knows like if that money gets stuck. So there's some caution around it with people with younger kids. But for you guys, I mean, yeah, I would sit down with a SmartVestor Pro because they're going to be able to look at what the market's doing. They're actually, a lot of these financial advisors who are great, they're going to be able to run these numbers to know, okay, should they go in more aggressive funds, more conservative funds, and they're going to do the best to really work with you guys. But I mean, if I were you, I would go ahead and invest into a 529 for them. What's expectation of college for them? Is it state school, community college? Where are they scholarships in the future? What are you thinking?
Great question. So it's a little bit up in the air. There's definitely the possibility of, college. So I've got a boy and a girl. My daughter is considering, being a vet. They're in an agricultural high school right now, but they both are also talking about potentially joining the military to help fund their college.
Oh,
so
that's
there's
smart.
just so much up in the air.
Okay.
Love
yeah.
that. The GI Bill would be an answer to prayer for you, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And we've learned that, I guess the Army ROTC pays for vet school as well. So.
Yeah. How much do you guys make a year? Jessica, you and your husband?
Combined, we make $240.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So a follow up. Let's go right where you left us off in the actual question. 10, 11, 12, those high school years. How much do you anticipate that you could sock away in each child's 529? What do you think that would be?
So I'm projecting that once we get into August and we're at that step 5, we'll have approximately $5,000 to $6,000 each month of extra, what was previously our snowball.
Split it up, let's say 2,500 each, maybe a month?
Potentially, but then there's also things, I'm the nerd in the relationship, so I'm thinking, all right, we're both going to need new cars in about 2 years. Not
you
that they
can't
need to
take
be,
all of that surplus and split it to the 529.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think is more realistic?
I don't know if, 1,000 each makes sense. So it's like half of it is going to 529 and half of it's going towards other.
Yeah, that's why.
Kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think too, Jessica, number one, communicating with the kids. You guys all need to be on the same page of what's happening here. No debt. Debt is just off the table. So what other options do we have besides debt? Is it community college? Is it not? And you guys are in the Northeast and they love their education up there. So that may be a humble pill to swallow too, that they may not go to the college they want. So
I'm going to
just
say this
remember that.
though. If my kids were thinking about the military, what a great growing up experience, not to mention the financial benefit.
brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is the Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to talk about your money, your profession, and your relationships. Alongside Rachel Cruze, I'm Ken Coleman. Excited that you're with us. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. Billings, Montana is where we're going to go. Christy is there. Christy, how can we help?
So I have been in a relationship for about 10 years, and I am very much secure in my assets, and my boyfriend is not. And I wanted to know if there's anything that I could do to avoid or to protect my assets from what could possibly be common law marriage.
Well, okay. So when you say could be possibly, Rachel and I are not common law marriage experts. We certainly don't know the law in Montana. So what do you know? Because it sounds like you're uncertain.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a he's not living with me right now. We were talking about it, but I think there's a 7-year living together.
And you guys have been sharing a residence for 7+ years.
No. We have not as of yet, and I don't want to get there. I don't want to be put in the position that it becomes a common law marriage.
Okay.
What's
up with the relationship?
Yeah,
Christy?
that's what I want to know.
What are you guys doing? Why don't you get married? Do you love
We've
him?
both been married. We're older.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Why aren't we married? Because we didn't see we live in different cities, and we didn't see a reason to. Like, we've had kids, we've done the whole thing.
You still live in separate cities?
Yep.
How far away?
It's great. You should try it.
Okay. Wow. That's a little awkward. I'm very happily married. I'm rolling into 27 years, and this is going to freak you out, Christy. I sleep in the same bed as Stacy. It's wonderful. You should try that.
Fine.
Now,
That's
I will tell
awesome.
you, mouth tape has really helped. It's helped. I use the mouth tape now, Rachel. I haven't told
You're
you
like
this.
an old man. That's an old man move.
It's a great marriage move.
It's a great move.
Stacy's happy about it. Okay, so how far apart do you all live?
A couple hours.
Okay, so
how often do you get together?
Why are you worried about the common law marriage if you guys aren't living together?
Yeah.
Because we're now looking so now my daughter's in college, so we're now looking to what does the future look like.
How old are you guys?
I'm 56.
Okay, you're not too old.
Okay, so according to what I'm seeing here, a common law marriage in Montana is recognized if the parties are competent to marry. I don't know if you're competent to marry.
Christy,
after that little comment you made, mutually agree to Hold on.
Christy.
I don't know, Christy. You're a little saucy today, and I can be saucy back. You have to mutually agree to the marital relationship and then cohabit. Well, you guys aren't cohabiting.
For how long? Does it give a time frame?
What?
Does it give a time frame at all?
No, it just says cohabit. We know what cohabiting is.
Well, I know, but usually there's a time frame with common law marriage if you have been together for 12 years or whatever it is.
Doesn't say. But again, have you guys ever lived in the same house?
Well, for what period of time?
Just answer the question.
Yes, we have.
How long?
A couple weeks.
That's not a common law marriage. I might as well have a judge's
She's going to, though. She's going to. You won't listen.
You're going to have to do it for a long period of time on that deal. I'm not sure we can answer your question because I don't think you guys actually.
The definition of it's not going to happen unless you guys are together for living together for a longer period of time.
And I, in this case, would say common law marriage. I don't think, under our Ramsey way of thinking, I don't think I'd combine finances. I think you keep your assets separately. Your question was, how do I protect my assets? I don't think you guys are combining them because I don't think this is a real marriage. I think you guys get together for conjugal visits, if I can be very blunt. That's what I think this is.
It's more than that. You don't do as long as we've been doing for conjugal visits.
I'm just saying. You live
together for
2 hours
years,
apart.
For 10 years.
How often do you guys see each other in a year?
We see each other every weekend.
My point exactly.
Okay.
I'm just saying, this isn't a marriage.
Christy,
I'm not judging her.
I'm sorry you called today.
I'm not judging you. I swear I'm not judging you.
Okay, Christy, our advice would be you are
keep
56.
the assets separate.
You still have a good, 30, 35 years together. You could have a longer marriage than what Ken has today from when he married
Stacy.
Exactly.
That's not a marriage.
No, but they could have if they got married.
They're not going to.
But that's what I'm telling her. She called our show,
She
and
doesn't
my
want to
advice
get married.
is that I would get married.
Oh, okay.
And
I see
you
what you're saying.
have another 35 great years. Maybe my papa's 96, so that's what, 45. I mean, like,
I love your sweet papa.
You got a long way to go, Christy. And so all of this would be summed up if you're like, yeah, we want to be in a committed. If not, then don't have a permanent residence together, and the common law marriage isn't even an issue.
And keep assets separate.
And keep assets separate.
That was my
But
whole
I think
point.
some people will go to court if they break up, though. I think that it can feel like a marriage where it's 50-50 regardless of, I don't know. Anyways.
Christy, now after all of that, and I tried to answer your question honestly, I'm having fun with you, but I'm dead serious. Everything I said, I completely stand behind. No judgment, by the way. Zero judgment. You do what you want to with your life. I'm a libertarian on that deal. All right. What I am saying is that I would keep the assets separately because I don't think you guys actually want to even do the common law marriage. Am I missing that, or is that what you're saying you're thinking about doing?
So if we're thinking about marriage, possibly. We're thinking about moving in together. We're thinking about a lot of different options, but...
Well, if you move in together, I agree with Rachel, you should get married. The statistics are absolutely undeniable that it is better for you. And Rachel's right, you're going to have a greater quality of life.
Now, if you don't love him and he's not marriage material, then I wouldn't be living with him anyways. What?
Yeah. I wouldn't be having this conversation if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it's right. Exactly.
I don't know. If you love this guy so much.
Why are you so hesitant in this?
Because here's why. I'll tell you why I'm hesitant. And I'm on your team. He didn't call. So underneath this snappy sweater here, I've got a Team Christie shirt on. Okay. So I'm cheering for you. I mean this. Okay. Here's what I'm telling you.
And you're better off financially, Christy.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, if you were my sister, Christy, I'd be like, sis, what are you doing? You don't love this guy that much. If you did, you couldn't stand to be away from him. My wife left town last week with my daughter for a trip with her sister, and they were gone for 4 nights. I really, truly missed my wife. I could not do what you're doing. So maybe, and I'm honest about this, maybe it's just me, but I don't see enough evidence that you really want to commit to this guy and truly marry this guy based on one of the first comments you said. You're like, well, I said why? And you went, well, we're just older now. And I think you've rationalized it. And I also don't think that I think you can live without this guy. And this is not my opinion. You see this guy once a week and you live a couple hours away. That ain't leaving Cleve. In my opinion. Now, I'm old school, and I don't mind when you push back on me. But Christy, that's why I'm a little bit cynical. I think if you would have said, you know what, we've done it this way for a long time, but now I can't live without him, and I want us to have our life completely intertwined, for better or for worse, rich or poor, bad Tuesday night, great Thursday morning, whatever. I don't hear that from you. So therefore, I don't want you to do it.
Is there any fact, Christy, that there's a level of you that you've handled money well, you're successful, and he hasn't? That's a little bit of a deterrent?
That's a huge deterrent.
Oh, you buried the lead.
There we go.
That would have been nice to know 5 minutes ago.
Man.
I definitely stand by what I think. Do not move in with this dude.
Yeah, don't move in.
Do not marry this dude until you guys are on the same page.
Yes, don't marry him unless you're on the same page, and don't combine your finances. Keep them separate.
What are we doing on the weekends, Christy? What are you doing? This guy's not like values. I stand by what I said. I wasn't trying to be salty.
I like Christy.
But there's a guy in the lobby that agrees with me. This is adult conjugal visits. We're playing house. I got head shaking all throughout the lobby. I stand by what I say, Rachel.
Stand firm, Ken. Stand firm.
Oh, it's tough being a Puritan.
I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? And it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I
in the
going to
middle
eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief, like it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance, and we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. The cost of a stinking pizza.
It really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com.
Let's go to Sue in Sacramento. Sue, how can we help today?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Yes, we have baby number 7 on the way, and we are considering a move to Texas. My husband and I have been talking about it, and I wanted to bring it by to you guys and see what you thought. We're coming into some money. We don't have a lot of savings, but we're trying to decide if we want to pay off debt first and stick it out here, or move to Texas for lower cost of living and so my kids can go to school.
Wow.
Nice.
Sounds like there's 2 really good positives. Is this also a good professional move for both of you?
It could be. There's definitely jobs in the same price range as what we're earning now. So it's going to be about the same earning.
But just different taxes.
But if we combine that with the other 2 issues, it sounds like this is a real big win. So when somebody calls in this situation, and it sounds like, there's a lot of positives here, what are you considering? What are you worried about that you want to get our take on? What do we not know that's giving you pause?
Right. Well, the main thing is just that, we've outgrown our house here. We've outgrown our car here. We're always in the, falling into the negative, and we do still have debt to pay off. So it's like when we do come into this money, are we going to be spending it on making a move? Because obviously it's going to cost a lot to move 7 kids out to Texas.
Oh, okay.
Or are we going to try to get our situation looking a little better?
Okay, so let's go into that. So let's paint the picture here for Rachel. All right, so tell us how much money you're going to get, or that you believe you're going to get, and then let's walk through your debt. So how much money are you getting first?
So about $10,000 is what we got in our tax return, something like that.
Okay, and then tell us your debt situation.
So we owe $13,000 on the car, and then we have $23,000 that we're not currently paying in charge-offs and collection.
From credit cards?
Basically, yeah, some medical stuff and, credit cards.
Okay, now, what do you think the move is going to cost?
Oh, I was thinking it might take somewhere around $8,000.
I don't think that's unreasonable. What I would tell you to do is get about 3 or 4 quotes, and let's come down to a pretty concrete number. And so let's just play off the $8,000, Rachel. Let's say the move costs about $8,000, but it does lower your cost of living. I'm curious, do you know, or can you ballpark what your new budget would be with the lower cost of living, so that we know how much more we're going to keep if we're going to have the same jobs? And you said similar jobs, so I'm assuming similar pay. So what's the analysis there? How much more money would you have at the end of a month, if you will, that we could put towards the debt if we move?
I haven't calculated it exactly, but I know the cost of living is going to be a lot less in terms of everything across the board. Right now, we're about $650 over budget every month, and that's because of how much we pay in California. And I know Texas would probably give us a lot more wiggle room.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would do it based on this, because I think what's not mentioned in this is I think you guys are going to have a better quality of life. Is that what you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, right now my kids have no religious freedom to go to school, so I'm not able to work. I work per diem because I'm home with them. And
could you work in Texas? Full time?
I do think I could work. Yes, yeah.
What kind of income are we talking about there?
Well, I'm a nurse, so I make a good income. I'm an LVN, but I make around $40 an hour.
That's great.
There's some Texas jobs that pay more, out there. Actually,
Rachel, I think this is a no-brainer because it's not that much debt, and they
you
can tackle it.
And Sue, I'll just encourage you. I feel like we've heard more and more over the last probably 3 years or so of people making this move. People.
Oh yeah.
And I hate to pick on California, but it's just true. They're leaving California and they're going to Florida.
This is an
Texas,
extreme example, but you and I have a friend. I will not mention his name because he's a public figure. We have a good friend, mutual friend.
Yes.
Who essentially bought a house in Nashville on the savings from his taxes in California.
Yes, exactly.
Now, he's very successful,
Yep.
but that's real.
But genuinely, yes.
That's crazy. So
Yes.
for that reason, I think this is not, that's the only debt you have is
and there's and for the kids' school, I mean, you think about that, right? You add on all these layers
the
of
kids
what
get
life,
to go to school. She can work.
of what life can look like. And then you may guys get in a situation soon and you don't have to work in 3 years, because you guys are ahead and you've
I love that.
paid off debt and everything.
Sue, what do you think now?
And you think about the housing even. I mean, again, housing is expensive everywhere, but compared to California.
I feel like this is a no-brainer. Sue, do you feel better, worse, the same?
I feel better. Yeah, I'm excited.
What does your husband want to do?
Really hear that. Well, it's hard to talk to money talk with him. He always thinks I'm coming down on him about his income, and it's not that.
No.
I respect him and I appreciate his hard work. I try to tell him a lot. I appreciate him working hard, but I just,
Does he want to do the move? Has the move?
That's the question.
Have you guys talked about this together as a couple?
We have, and he's pondering and he's looking and he's, he has his eyes peeled and he's actually open to it a little bit more these days since things have gotten pretty bad. So I think he's open to it, but it is hard to talk to money with him about money. I mean, we end up just walking away from the conversation.
And it's him. You're saying when you approach it, he gets defensive.
Right. Yeah. Like he just doesn't want to be told what to do or, talk about our earnings or.
Okay. I got a thought.
Why? What is it? I'm curious.
It's just kind of always been that way. I've always been kind of the breadwinner in a way, so I've always made more. And now that I'm a stay-at-home mom and he's doing it, we've cut down so many things that I've become honestly a little bitter. And I probably have been not the nicest about it. And I mean, I don't yell at him or anything, but it's probably not nice to hear that he's really not making enough to provide out here in California.
That's exactly. Let me tell you right now. You just self-diagnosed. A man puts so much self-worth in his ability to provide, and with the dynamics you just shared with us, I think there's some potential healing there, and I think you got to defrost the situation a little bit. I'm not saying it's all on you, but you acknowledge some things, and I think the dynamics have changed. And where you were the breadwinner, now you come home, he's not making enough. This is a tough situation. I wonder if we don't pivot this move to a non-money conversation, and the move is about life. And I'm curious, with that being said, does he agree with you that a move to Texas would be better for the kids' schooling situation?
He didn't for the longest, and even a few weeks ago, he didn't agree that Texas has a lower cost of living. I mean, he's completely in denial. It's like a family thing, like wanting to stay by family, which I understand. But
so there's family in Sacramento.
Yes, yeah. Well,
his family, your family.
They're all the way in Monterey, so they're far away.
Okay.
But yeah, they're in California, so it's kind of a whole California. We're born and raised here, so it's a mentality. A lot of people deal with this. It's hard to leave here.
Sure.
But let me get back to where we were.
He's opening his eyes.
Does he now agree with you that cost of living is significantly less in Texas? He's on board with that.
He does. He now agrees. Yeah.
What about the schooling?
The schooling is, it's a hit or miss with him because he does like that we homeschool. He doesn't love the schools here, but I think in Texas he would be okay with them going to school because it's a lot safer.
Yeah.
The values.
I think you all need to take a weekend trip.
Yeah. Well, and
visit and let him see it. You guys need to pick an area. I'm going to suggest that.
Yeah. And I think, Sue, you guys need to press into this. I'm just hearing enough of, I understand what Ken said, that so much is tied. I mean, so much of America, let's be honest, of our self-worth is tied to our money, what we make, how much is in our account, what kind of car we drive. I mean, so much is attached to that. And So I understand why he can get defensive, but I also, if I'm being the female in the chair, I'm like, I'm sorry, your ego hurts a little bit, but the math shows we are $650 behind.
I agree. He needs to get over it.
Yeah, we have to something has to change. So that change either, Sue, is you earning extra money, him earning extra money, you guys moving to a cheaper area. I mean, something has to change. So, but your dynamic within marriage, I don't like the tiptoeing, or we can't talk about this because there's usually no resolution. We end up walking away. Like that's kind of stuff will follow you guys to Texas as well. And it'll come up, its head will pop up in a different issue as well. So I want you guys to be so unified on this decision, and it doesn't need to come out of strife or fine, Sue just wants to do it. So we're going to, it needs to be, we have run the numbers and we are in full agreement for our life and our money that this is what we're doing. All right, Dave, you have some strong opinions.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so. Okay, because you really prefer credit unions over big banks.
Well, credit unions, for one thing, are non-profit, which means that the members, the customers, own the credit union. So any profits that the credit union makes goes back into customer pricing. So you get better interest rate on savings, cheaper checking, and so on, that kind of thing. But that's what's more important than that, though, is the fact that the customer is the owner changes the spirit on the credit union. So I find very few credit unions that aren't very customer-centric.
Well, and I think we have found one that is incredible, and that's Fairwinds. They are an incredible credit union that is really out with the heart to help the customer.
They're the right kind of people with the right kind of values. And they've done a really, really good job with customer service. And the deals that they're offering, the Ramsey Tribe, is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that they encourage getting out of debt. They encourage 15-year mortgages. I mean, it's like the things that we teach, they so line up with. And you're right, their customer service is unbelievable. Winston and I just signed up and we got an account.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. It took less than 5 minutes. It was so user-friendly. Like the step-by-step approach was unbelievable. And then the next day my phone rings and it says Fairwinds on my phone. So I answered it and talked to someone there and they said, yeah, they give calls to every new customer. And so again, they just really care about your experience. And I so appreciate that. Plus anything that you can do at a traditional branch, you can do with them at fairwinds.org or on their app. And you'll have free access to over 33,000 ATMs.
Hey, you guys know how much I hate banks in general. And so for me to do this is a big deal. Talk to our friends at Fairwinds and check out the combined checking and savings bundle that they created just for the Ramsey Tribe. You guys, it's incredible.
Yeah, you guys, it's so easy to join Fairwinds no matter where you live. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey.
Hey, have you heard about the Money and Relationships Tour? Dave Ramsey and Dr. John Deloney are hitting the road, and this is going to be a fun night. They're going to be talking about everything from raising kids to handling money fights to making friends and so much more. Here are the cities: Louisville on April 21, Durham on April 23, Atlanta April 25, Phoenix May 5, Fort Worth May 7, and Kansas City May 9th. If you want to get your seats to see Dave and John live, go to RamseySolutions.com/tour. That's RamseySolutions.com/tour. And as with everything on this show, if we mention anything and you didn't catch the link, you can get the link in the show notes if you're watching on YouTube and podcast. Did you know that James Childs, our fearless producer, he tells me all the time, the show notes are just chock full of goodness.
So much stuff in there.
So anything we discuss, James wants you to know if you miss it because I garble it or I say it too fast, the show notes, it's all there.
You can find it there.
Boy, it's the show of Rachel's today.
I know. It's like our third Rachel.
Is it our third Rachel?
I think
it's very exciting. Rachel, number 3 in Lexington. How can we help?
Hi.
So my husband and I bought an investment property next door about 2 years ago, and we would like to know if we should, A, move into it and renovate it ourselves, or just sell the property and, take the money.
Give us the reasons why we would do either of those. So go with option A. Why do you think you should do that?
So we currently have our home paid off that we live in. The property that is the investment property is actually next door to us. So combined, it's 6 acres. Hillside is really pretty. It shares an easement, and it's the only 2 houses on the hillside. It's a really pretty location. And so we are very attached to it. But the home we live in currently, we have it paid off, and so that's a bonus. So we could either – that's kind of where we're stuck.
But why would – so what I'm understanding is I'm trying to understand is why would you want to move to this other house next door?
Okay. So I have 4 children. There's 6 of us in the house, and we currently live in a 2-bedroom single wide. So it's getting really tight.
Got that.
And we are needing a solution, and so that's why we're calling. The only debt that we have is the investment property, and we got it at a really good deal. We got it at $75,000, and we paid it down to around $60,000. And so that is the question of the day. Do we sell it because it's worth more? Do we take that money and we just, what do we do?
Okay, I would sell the current house that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what would you make on that? Any idea?
We have had people come look at it, and realtors and on people who know what they're doing. So a really cool fact is we purchased it 9 years ago for $32,000, and it was livable. It was actually really nice. And we bought our little single-wide trailer on 2 acres for $32,000, and now we could sell it for at least $120,000.
Oh, my gosh.
I would sell that.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and pay off the other house. And that becomes your primary residence because it's got the space you need and you love the little 100%. Hill.
100%. And take the extra money, the 60 grand, because you owe 60. You're going to make 120. Pay it off. Means you got 60 left. And use that for renovations. Cash flow the renovations. Do you guys know what you're doing when it comes to renovations, or have you ever done that?
We have not. We don't know what we're doing.
So I would not recommend doing it yourself. I would get a contractor in there and having someone, and they can do what they need to do. And you may have to live in a construction zone for a little bit, but I would do that just in order to cash flow it,
Okay.
How much work does it need? Is it terrible?
It is not in good shape. I will tell you that. It is an old house. It's a really cute old farmhouse. However, to give you insight, it doesn't have any doors inside. It doesn't have closets. It's a really old house. We have gotten it looked at by contractors, and they say that the bones are good, that we would be losing money if we completely demolish it. But we're kind of just stuck because
have they given you a number of what it would take? I mean, I'm sure you guys haven't picked. I mean, that would be a ballpark, but I'm curious.
They said it would take at least $50,000, and we have $40,000 in our savings. So we just are really stuck. We just don't know.
No,
so
you're not stuck. No. You've got a great option, Rachel.
With that cash set aside, plus the profit that Rachel's talking about after you pay off this little house, you stay on the hill that you love. You got the room for the kids. You make it your own. You don't have to get it all done right away, but you got the cash, it sounds like, to do it all.
You know what you could do, Rachel? Sell the trailer. Pocket the money, and you guys go rent somewhere for 6 months. It's not going to be a fun 6 months, but get the house all fixed up and stuff.
Ooh, I like that.
Rent somewhere for 6 months, and then you guys move in, and you're cash flowing all of this as you're doing it.
And you're not in a construction zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's going to be a headache. So hear me say that. That's a headache. You're moving twice, but all day.
Right.
To be able to do this.
Our next door neighbors, the investment property and the home we live in are technically next door neighbors. So do you think we could just live in the home we have or move into the investment property and fix it up? You think we should completely get off of the property, correct?
Well, in order to get the cash is what I'm saying. But you guys have $40,000. How much do you guys make a year?
So this year on taxes, we're going to be bringing home about $110,000.
Oh.
Okay. But you have 40 saved.
So you could cash flow it without selling the current house you live in.
Well, cash flow the rent, but you still got the mortgage on it and stuff. I don't know. You guys run some numbers and just say, okay, how would we feel? What would our emotional state be? What gives us the most peace Is it to sell the current home, pocket the 120, sell off the house, you got 60 left, you guys put 60, 70,000 of cash into it and go rent somewhere? Or is it less stressful for you guys to say, okay, we're going to pump the brakes a little bit. We're not in a rush. We're going to take some of this 40. We're going to start chunking, paying it off. I don't like that because then you're going to have to save up all this.
But it's your option. We're giving you multiple options.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It's all sounding really good.
I think Rachel's option is cleaner.
I do too.
You get rid of the current house. You get all the cash. You go rent. You get the whole thing renovated. That's a little easier. It is a pain to move twice, but it feels like it feels like now. But again, I think what I'm hearing you say is you guys could cash flow the renovations while staying in the existing house.
Correct.
And then paying the mortgage off later. Yeah.
Or at least get it to a point that you can move into it, and then whatever's left is not a complete construction zone. I think they got options.
Yeah, that's true.
So at this point,
I guess one more question.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. One more question I have for you is, I've heard people say that it's smart to have rental properties. In this situation, would you suggest having both houses and living in one and renting the other? Would that be a good option?
I don't think that's enough money.
Yeah, not in your financial situation, I wouldn't. And having renters next door to you, not a fun
and it's just not a lot of money. You guys, I don't even know where you live, by the way. When you're buying a house for $32,000, that's mind-blowing to me. Or the other one for $60,000. So I just don't think it's going to spit off enough rental income that it's worth the hassle.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So we're going to say no to renting.
That's those numbers are not common where we're at.
I know.
So it was a blessing.
But trust me, I knew that much. I'm no real estate baron, but I was like, wow.
But I think y'all go to the house on the hill, Rachel, and whether you guys cash flow renovations, then move in, then sell, or sell and then move in. I think either way you're great, but cash flow the whole thing and go live on 6 acres. Because how many kids do you have?
Thank you so much. We have 4 little children. Yes.
They're just going to be
What a dream.
You know what I'm picturing?
3, 4,
in Kentucky.
I'm picturing wildflowers. Do you have flowers on that property?
We absolutely do. And that's another thing, we're so attached to the property.
How do I know these things?
How do you? It's the spirit.
I got to say, I'm also picturing a little, I think you should get the troop together. How old are the kids? Their ages?
So we have 3, 4, 5, and 9.
This is perfect.
Good.
Have they ever seen? I know.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
God
She's
bless
a busy
you.
lady.
God
have you ever
bless
seen
you.
The Sound of Music?
I have, yes.
I put the little kids together and get to that point. The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Von Trapp children.
The Von Trapps, the wildflowers.
Some of the old curtains.
I got such a great vibe about this place on the hill. I'm going to go with my partner's recommendation. Sell the current place. Go all in. Go rent. Go all in and fix the other little place up. And then we watch the Sound of Music and we run through the wildflowers. I think it's going to be great. I like everything about it. I hope you're not allergic to pollen.
So magical.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. All right, so I was born and raised in Texas, and I love the myth of the lone cowboy. You know, the guy who doesn't need anyone or anything. It's a fun story, but it's a lie. In our self-obsessed society, where we're obsessed with our own diets, our own workout routines, our own jobs, our own social media feeds, it's easy to forget that no one can do it alone. Whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, or whatever you want to call yourself, we all have to have a community and a support system to do life with. And good folks, it's time to shift the focus from doing it all by ourselves to knowing that we can only be well and whole when we ask for help. Therapy can be a great source of support and help for any area of your life. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, try BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy, so it can fit with your schedule. To get started, just fill out a short online survey to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. This month, start to build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Ramsey Radio to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Ramsey Radio.
So, how you folks doing with the baby steps? Some of you are brand new to it. Some of you are test driving it. Some of you are in the middle of it. We got a fun little quiz online that will allow you to check your progress in just a few minutes and get a personalized plan. And this is really valuable because you kind of see, okay, this is where I am. And now I've got some help, some action steps to keep going. Because remember this about the baby steps. It is about momentum, pure and simple. And there are times where you need that little boost. So if that's you, you can head to the show notes, click on the link titled, Are You on Track with the Baby Steps? And complete the quiz. It's really encouraging, and it'll actually equip you as well. All right, we're going to go to Portland, Oregon now, and Karen is there. Karen, how can we help?
Hi, I'm 68 years old, and I probably, put it all together, have about $75,000 that I don't know if I could or should invest. About 4 years ago, a financial advisor told me, and my situation had totally changed at that point, and he just told me I was too old to get 401ks or buy any property or anything like that, and to just live as frugally as I could and try to get as much income as I could within that point. So now, fast forward 4 years, and I still have, I may at some point need to live off that money if my income changes, my income stream. So I don't know and I've been doing like little CDs with my bank, 3 months and 6 months and that kind of thing, and making a little bit of money there. But I'm really a novice on how to invest anything, or if I should, or if I could at this point.
How much are you making a year, Karen?
Let's see, I wrote this down. About $53,000 a year.
$53,000, okay. And how much per month are your expenses?
I'm living under them all the time. So, because I've been tracking for years now, I track compulsively. So,
yeah.
I'll sometimes live, $1,000 a month underneath what my income is. So I don't have the exact number, but it's not.
But you're not in the red necessarily.
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Yeah. So you're coming up even 1,000. Okay. And you're how old again? I'm sorry. I know you said that at the beginning of the call. 70?
68.
68. Okay. I'm so sorry.
In a critical health situation too. So
you are. What's going on there?
I have to have a very serious surgery that is I'm considered critical but stable.
Oh gosh, Karen, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I can't work.
Okay. When is that surgery happening?
They don't know for sure yet. It depends on, it's very metabolically challenging. And so metabolically, I have to be strong enough to be able to withstand it.
Okay.
And that's basically what I feel like is my job right now, is to stay healthy, eat healthy, get it.
That's right.
Get healthy, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And did I understand you're unable to work right now because of this preparation, or you would be unable to work after the surgery?
I think both.
Oh, okay. So
how are you? I haven't been for.
How are you living right now?
Right now, I have since 4 years ago have alimony, and see that's unstable. I consider that unstable.
Well, has he been consistent on his alimony payments?
Relatively.
And is that the $53,000 a year? What was that number you gave me?
Yeah, 53. Yeah,
it's coming all from alimony.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long is that? How long will that go? That's not perpetuity, is it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Specifically, in our divorce order, it doesn't say specifically when it ends. Well, as long as he's working, I guess is what it says.
As long as he's working and making an income, he'll be paying you alimony. How old
Correct.
is he?
He's a little bit younger than me.
Will he be?
A couple years.
Do you know? I mean, do you talk to him ever? Do you know what his plans are?
Well, that's one of the reasons for divorces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on it's being unstable because you never know. He can decide not to work next year, and this is done. So you have $75,000 in savings. Do you have any other savings?
Yes, and that I didn't include that in the amount that because I didn't know how much you wanted to hear, but just that's for
that was in like the CDs.
Keeping in my checking account, and yeah,
we need to know your total financial.
Yeah, what's like in retire? Do you have any other money saved in retirement or investments or anything?
No.
So the $75,000 is pretty much it. That's everything in checking and CDs, right. All of it. Okay.
Right.
Well, I think from a mathematical standpoint, I know that you are living below your means, but I want to know what your means are. So I would give you homework to say, okay, figuring out, do you rent, own a home? What's your housing situation?
Yes, I rent, and that's my biggest expense. I rent in the least expensive place where I live, but of course rents are all high, so there's nowhere I could break
go
it there,
that's
but
cheaper.
Own
I hear
everything
you.
else, and I put my grandkids through your book too. So I'm doing all the right things. I just feel like there's this money there. Should I be doing something with it?
Okay, my answer is yes, you should be. Okay. And what I would do, Karen, I would recommend you sitting down with a SmartVestor Pro. And if you go on RamseySolutions.com and look up SmartVestor Pros, there should be a couple in your area there in Portland. And talk to a couple of them and sit down with one that you interview 2 or 3 of them. Find one that you like and sit down and lay out the whole situation, because some of the $75,000, yes, should be invested. Now, should it be invested within a retirement account like a Roth IRA? Not necessarily. I mean, a lot of that stuff is to grow tax-free till you're 59 and a half, and if you start pulling from it, but you can invest into those past 59 and a half, right? So I would sit down with them and honestly let them run some of these numbers, because I want to make sure that you have enough to live off of. And on top of that, knowing, and again, the health thing puts a whole other spin factor to your situation, which is just terrible. But to know for yourself of like, okay, this money eventually, if alimony stops, and if this is the only money I have, eventually it will run out. So what do I need to do to kind of safeguard? How much do I need to be living on a month with the amount of interest that we can be getting? Because that's the crazy thing about the market. In 2023 and 4, it was like up at, like the S&P was around 20%. Like we had crazy returns. This year, not looking so great, right? So there is a level of this roller coaster ride that we talk to people, Karen, to ride out. Now, again, at your age, at 68, you are on the latter end, if I'm kind, of the ride.
No, that's right.
So the aggressiveness of it may look different because of your age and situation, and that's why I would want you to sit down with an actual investment professional for them to look at some of this, because they probably will have a good game plan for you on how to get the most out of this money without losing a bunch of it if you need it, right? Because that the market game, if you're living off of that, you want to make sure that there's a level of it that principle-wise is still there, making you the money you need, but yet you're still able to pull money and live off of it, even if you have to pay taxes if it's a standard investment. So there's kind of a lot there, Karen. But I would I hate to hand you off to someone else, but I don't think I can answer this in a 5-minute call.
This is tough. The only thing I would add is, if I were you, I would be trying to find another golden girl or 2 in your area, and let's see if we can roommate. I'm not kidding you. I really think you got to slash your expenses as much as you can, because you're in such a... This whole health thing is just limiting you and your ability to work. And hoping the alimony payments keep coming in. But in the meantime, I'm going to be pinching like I have nothing coming in. And I would really, truly consider a roommate situation, getting yourself in that. And let's see if we can cut your rent in half. My goodness.
Yeah.
And don't tell me there aren't other ladies out there like you that wouldn't mind having a roommate, somebody around the house. So I would at least look into that.
For years.
Yeah.
I've joked for years about starting the Golden Girl Arms.
And,
See, I had no idea. I think it's meant to be. I do think there's some Golden Girls out there that would love to have a Karen in the house, and I would consider that. The good Karen, by the way.
That's right.
Be careful how you use
She's
that
a great
these days.
Karen.
She's a great Karen.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys.